this is Jeremiah. He's back. He's on the attack. Let's get right back into Pre-Tribulation, Pre Rapture 14c. And of course, this is our Pre-Tribulation Laodicean period of Christ Church, 7th Church. And it is the last period. I don't know how many, 100 or so years period. Probably two, I don't know. It could be 300, but it is the Church of Philadelphia that we're living in right now that is gone. Now we're in Laodicea, okay? We went from Philadelphia to Laodicea. Now, Philadelphia has a lot of good notes from the Master. We're going to get into Laodicea right now and talk about watching and praying and being ready. Now, the first point was watch you and watch you therefore. And the reason why in Luke 21 is don't get left here. You want to stand before the Lord and not be left here. In other words, so when the rapture happens, you're going to be standing before the Lord and you're not going to get left here because you were watching, right? Then we went into pray this, that you're accounted worthy in verse 36 also, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all of these things. So you're going to escape all of these things, which is good. Okay? And I would assume this is applicable to Jew or Gentile, doesn't matter. The Jews are going to get some sort of protection for 3.5 years. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate on that right now. But they have 3.5 years of peace that's promised to them by their enemies. Someone's going to intercede, which is the Antichrist, and tell the Jewish people who are the smallest country almost in the world, surrounded by millions of people, and yet they seem to always survive. Like super tiny couple square miles there, and they're surrounded by miles and miles and miles of Muslims, and now Russians are attacking pretty soon China and North Africa, etc., etc., etc. So, and yet they still manage to survive. So during the tribulation period, the first 3.5 years are years of peace. There's supposed to be 7 years of peace, I think, if that is correct. They signed 7 years, and in the middle of 3.5 years, the devil gets kicked out of heaven. He can't go there anymore because he likes to go back and forth, evidently. And it's only about 12,000 miles, if my memory is correct. I guess to give you some more calculations. Heaven is about 12,000 miles right on top of your head. It's a physical place. Now, but it's a spiritual place. Here's the point. Point is that devil's going to come down in the middle of the 3.5 years, and that's when all hell breaks loose, literally. And the Jews are going to go, whoa, wait a minute, I thought we had peace. No, we're coming after you. The woman who gave birth to the child that legally destroyed the authority of the devil over humans. That's what Jesus did. He took the legal authority. God likes to do everything legally. When Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, God basically lost legal authority over the humans. That was their just punishment from the judge. Jesus came and purchased every human being, and he can pick anybody he wants for salvation. And now we're getting into what you're going to have to do, basically, in this pre-tribulation state to be ready so that you get out of here. That you're not going to sign a 3.5, 7 year deal. You're not going to be here. Whether they have the 3.5, 7 year signature after the rapture or before the rapture, I don't know. But all hell breaks loose for them in 3.5 years of the 7 years. That's why that's called Jacob's trouble. Jacob is not that bright. That's what the word Jacob means. He's a heel catcher. He's a normal kind of human that's not that bright. But he gained some intelligence when he wrestled with God, and his name was changed to Israel, meaning I am submitted to God now. I was a knucklehead before, Jewish boy or Israelite. Then I wrestled God, and I became submitted to God. So now I am intelligent, because that's what Israel means. It means I'm an intelligent person because I am submitted to God. That's the point. When you submit yourself to authority, it's beneficial for you. Right? If your parents tell you to do something, it's beneficial for you in general to do exactly what they told you to do. You're not going to play games. Jacob liked to play games. He wasn't submitted to God. He took his brother's birthright. He didn't know how to negotiate for his wife. I'll work for your daughter for 75,000 years, and then I can have her, okay? And this guy doesn't seem to be that bright. And that's just my opinion, by the way. But we know that Jacob is not intelligent like Israel is, because he changed it. His name was changed from heel catcher, game player, in my opinion, to someone who's going to listen to God and do what God says. That's what Israel means. Submitted to God. I told my students periodically, off and on, not too much, when they sang the Star Spangled Banner or something, or I would tell them that you're demonstrating that you are a citizen and you're getting in line. And you just said the Pledge of Allegiance, and you just said that you are one student under God. So that means now you can be an Israelite. You're an intelligent person, because an intelligent person acknowledges the fact that they are under God, that they're not God. That's the basis of psychosis. The basis of psychosis is for you not to assess where you are. If you don't know where you are, then you're psychotic. You're mentally disturbed. If you don't know your true status, what is my true status? What is my scientific status? In the overall, what role am I playing here? Who am I? Until you acknowledge science as to who you are, then you're lost. And you can't be an Israelite. You can only be a Jacob in trouble. That's the point. You want to be a Jacob in trouble? Then continue to ignore science. Continue to ignore the true psychological profile that you own. Okay? Then you'll remain Jacob. The reason why Jesus is coming for Jacob is because he is not going to submit to the Son now. He's going to submit to the Son of God. So now we have Hosanna, Hosanna. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. God is now happy to save you now, Israel, because now you're finally acknowledging your Son, the Son of David. You're acknowledging him now. So now we can talk. There is no conversation. There is no soap here. We can't play ball. That's the point. As we say here in America, there's no interaction until you acknowledge who you are. When you go to the River Jordan and you confess who you are scientifically, then Mr. Science comes down from heaven about 12,000 miles on top of your head, on top of Polaris, and he comes down and he communicates. If you believe you're a tree out there, in California, you can marry a tree. I'm from California. I'm in Indiana now. They marry trees, animals. They're homosexual. They're freaks out there. It's a very freaky place. I think 70% of the population says that the current administration is doing a great job, and it's okay to go into children's classrooms and talk about romance. Any adult without talking to the parents. Californians think that's cool. They don't have a problem with that. That means it is a psychotic state. And they're going to get trouble, because that's what happens to you when you don't get yourself in line and say, I'm under God, and I'm going to listen to the commands of the Lord Jesus Christ and to Moses, and I'm going to put on intelligence and class and so on and so. That's one reason why a lot of these Democrats, they have rejected the U.S. Constitution. We don't like it. They're trying to destroy America based upon the fact that it's basically the Ten Commandments. Sigmund Freud, Erich Fromm, Nietzsche, Saussure, Baudelaire, all these famous philosophers at the college institutions at the PhD level that tell you that there are no rules, dude. I had a professor who said, I'm going to follow a dog around. That's really intelligent. He said, we follow dogs around because they do exactly what they feel like doing, and they enjoy themselves, and they don't have any problems with all of these needless psychological shackles that you Christians put on. We're free, man. Woo! We don't like the Constitution. We don't like the laws that children have protection. And that's what they're really saying. They're just freaks. You go to their art shows, you see what I mean. Anything can happen in an art show in Hollywood. Anything. They'll put children on the paintings, doing anything they want to. There are no rules. So they're going to find trouble because until you get in line, that's why Jacob is in trouble, and that's why Israel's in trouble right now, because they will not submit to Jesus Christ, and they keep wanting to put sacrifices and all of this. There are no sacrifices. There are no sacrifices acceptable to God. Nothing. Nothing you give him, offer him, he can take. He can't take it. It's all stained. Around the corner, you can join the demonic witnesses. You can knock on so many doors, and now you don't need the throne of grace anymore, which is the only way to talk to God. You can talk to God based upon your performance. The Mormons are on the other corner. It's based upon performance. The Catholics, you pay penance, you pay this, you do this, you buy candles. You scrape your knees on the ground. You carry rocks up a mountain. Oh, the Protestants are the only people in the world, basically, who say it's a gift of God, and lest any man should boast. That is correct. We don't have psychosis here. Buddha says, throw your body down on the rocks to feed lion cubs. That's mental illness. Buddha is mentally ill. The Hindus worship an animal, it's an elephant, Vishnu and Brahma and Kali and all these gods, that have seven animals, seven arms and 3 trunks on their elephant trunks and 4 women's breasts that aren't covered, the nudity and so forth. It's all trash. Oh, you're not being sensitive. If you don't like it, you could leave. Go over there and worship an elephant with 3 trunks and human's breasts and go worship it. We're not going to stop you. Go over the demonic witness over there. Go over there. Where you knock on 12 stars, there's 12 stars on the wall, and now you're a legitimate follower of Jehovah now. You're legitimate now. Join the Mormons where they have secret ceremonies where you're now holy now. You put on a uniform, take your clothes off. They have a lot of weird stuff going on in there. That's why they don't have windows in those buildings. The same is for the Illuminati. They don't have windows in their buildings. The Freemasons, they have a window like 3 inches wide. Why is that? Because they don't want you looking in there because they're freaky people. The America had a movie called Eyes Wide Shut, where they show what these people do. They have all kind of crazy, mentally retarded activities. We're rich, so we can do all kind of crazy things. And if you want to be rich, you're going to have to join us doing all kinds of crazy, mentally retarded things. And now we might cut you in the slice of the pie on the pyramid of the dollar. You can climb up the ladder there. What does it say on the dollar bill? Bold deeds have good rewards. What does that mean? What has it got to do with America? Nothing. Bold deeds have good rewards? The only thing we teach here is work hard and go to bed. That's all we teach here. Where did bold deeds come from? And then rewards too. I thought it was just work, get a reward, and hug your family and go to bed. That's what we teach here in America. How did that come on a dollar bill? Bold deeds. Going to work is not a bold deed. So what does it refer to? Use logic. There's nothing bold about being a William Penn American. Nothing. Does it mean brazen? Does it mean breaking the law has good rewards? Is that what it means? Why would that be on the dollar bill? I'm going to submit to you it means break the law. That's what it means. You say, ooh, Jeremiah, what do you mean? I'm just giving you my opinion. I think that's what the dollar bill is telling you. That the people who made the money are wicked people. They brought all of this fake, all of this high interest to the United States citizen. They bought up property and they continue to do so, like they're doing in Hawaii now. So all the rich people are in control, and God's letting him do it because he lets people go crazy, and then he fixes their wagon when they die. That's what he does. If need be, these offenses. Woe to them. All they're doing is building up tokens of perdition, which means that they keep putting more and more and more against their case when they die. That's what people do. You know, they have murderers in Chicago, gang members. They'll murder one person, they'll murder another person, and all of those offenses are in their pocketbook. Same as for all these rich people with this bold deeds have good rewards and all of this. And the eye on the dollar, you know, looking down on the world, controlling the world. And, you know, I control money, you know, I control the world. And that's what the devil told Jesus. And I guess he's letting him control the world. But he doesn't really have ultimate control. Because every now and then Jesus will show up and everybody has to shut up. That goes for the devil and everybody. And pretty soon, everybody who's evil is going to be locked up, and you'll never see them again. That's what God wanted to do, and he gave the devil the earth 6,000 years, and he's using him. He already used him by allowing himself to be crucified to legally own humans. He used the devil's behavior, which is murder, in order to save humans. That's called Sagittar in your sky. That means a wise person is God who used the devil's behavior to save humans legally. Think about it. God does everything legally. Always. Let's get back to pre-tribulation, pre-rapture. So you're going to watch, therefore, and you're not going to get left here. You're going to stand before Jesus at the tribulation period's inception. Pray this always. Pray always that you may be accounted worthy, which means you're constantly praying that the Lord is going to take you out of here, and you want to stay on the narrow brick road, which always goes back to the narrow brick road. Narrow is the way that leads to life, and narrow is the way that leads to this rapture. That's what accounted worthy means, or worthy. It's the same thing. Worthy is a word that's equal to, like an equation, to what? To you being humble and seeking righteousness. Is that hard to figure out? No, it's not. Let's move on to 3. Shall be. So you shall be called. So now the Master is going back to shall be again in Luke 22, which is the same thing he said in Matthew 5. Blessed are the meek, for you shall. So it's always about shall here. What does shall mean, Jeremiah? It means that God is going to take you in the rapture, and you're going to be an official, permanent servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. And you will also be called adopted daughter and son. Okay? That's what's headed your way. You shall be. The end of Matthew chapter 5. The middle of Luke 6. You shall be called the children of the high. And it's always shall be when it's referring to you being adopted in general. Because you have to put on a servant mind first, just like the Lord just said, he that serveth. So the shall be goes to he that serveth. It doesn't mean you're not daughter or son at this particular time. That's not the point. It means that you will officially be son and daughter, permanent, Kaiser Permanente here in the Megala Hospital. You're going to be daughter and son without any equivocation, because there's equivocation until you endure to the end. See, that's the key. See, until you endure to the end, we don't know. We just looked at Jude. He said, remain in the love of God. So that means that you don't have to remain in the love of God. John 14 and elsewhere. You can flake out. So shall be called, shall be is a posthume proposition. In other words, the word blessed refers to you being blessed in heaven, and that's what it means. Because you shall be called every day a child of God. That makes you blessed. Now you're a servant in a battle, and you're not going to be called a child of God every day in peace without the devil. You're going to be with the devil right now, wrestling. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Paul told Timothy, fight a good fight. This is war. You can't be totally blessed in war. Doesn't make any sense. That's what makes TV bozos popular. They tell you the war's over, you know. Whee! Go on a cruise with me. You know. Because the great-grandfather of the Lord Jesus Christ, whose words we're reading here in Luke 21:22, and Matthew 24, and Matthew 5:6, wherever we're looking at here, those are the basic scriptures we're looking at now, and we're going to end up with 2 Thessalonians 2:6. But the point is that, in Revelation 2:3, of course, but we're looking at a situation where you can look at this very simply, that this is a posthume proposition, that you're going to, in your human body, be loved as a child and as a daughter. We just read, Jesus called the woman daughter, which is a wonderful thing to hear from the Master. And you're in a war zone. And John 16, men are going to take your joy away from you, but pretty soon is going to come a day when no man taketh your joy away from you. That's simple logic, simple math, simple grammar. I can't tell you how many people don't understand what I just told you, even though I've explained it to them a few times in my life. They're like, what? The TV preacher told me. I said, didn't you hear what I said? It's not that difficult. I don't understand it. Well, one of the reasons why they're not understanding it is because they never really wanted to love God in the first place. So let's go there right now. One of the reasons why people don't understand anything is because they never really wanted to love God. They went to church for reasons that are nefarious. They're not there for love and truth. They're there because it's some sort of social event or somewhere they can gain some sort of popularity or get some money. Let's be frank about this. That's why they're there. I meet women at the gym. They're there to get in shape, or are they there to show off their body? What are they there for? In general, they're there to put on a show, to be objectified, to be commodified, to please all the voyeurs at Starbucks. It's all flesh. They're not really there for health purposes per se. They want to shine. Like a peacock. A lot of these people that go there, male and female, they know that they're not going to shine forever, but they're going to spread those peacock feathers out as long as they can. That's the point. Vainglory. Let's go back to Matthew 5. Shall be, shall inherit. Luke 6. Matthew 5, obviously. And then we have Luke 22. It's the same concept. So I am among you as a servant. And this is a posthume situation, because the great-grandfather of the Lord Jesus Christ said, blessed is the man that what? That's blessed in his human body. The master does not focus on his grandfather's position, does he? No. The grandson of Mr. David of the line of Judah focuses on you going to heaven most of the time, because that's what's important. So the word blessed now refers to you putting on a servant mind, he that serveth, so that you are blessed. Truly, which is you're going upstairs. And you won't be left here for the rapture, which is what we're specifically talking about today. You shall be raptured. Let's go to Luke 21:34. Pay heed. That means look ahead. Don't let your heart be overcharged with surfeiting. What does that mean? I want to enjoy the world. It's very difficult to go visit Sister So-and-so across the street who needs help and go to the ball game. You got to pick your road here, right? I want to devote myself to surfeiting, which the Lord uses here, which is the same thing as Luke 6, which is what? Consolation. Same thing. Consolation, surfeiting. Well, pick what team you want to be on. Now, you and I have picked the team of we don't want surfeiting, we don't want consolation, we don't want parties, we don't want excess, we don't want greedy TV preacher garbage of these puke people out there who are just purely greedy, wolves in sheep's clothing people. We don't want to have nothing to do with it. We don't mind poverty. We don't mind giving our money away like the widow's mite. Take it all. A lot of the Christians I know, they work hard and they give their money away, and that's what they should do. Pastor T, who just passed away, told me he used to work 2 jobs a lot in Kentucky down there as a Bible teacher, and he was poor most of his life. One of the reasons why was he was giving his money away because he had love for people, and that means he obeyed the royal command. He loved his neighbor the way he loved himself. So he obeyed the royal command. That means he's in like flint and he's saved because he has love, testimony, fruits of activities of sharing, and the word is charity. So he's a winner in all of this. This is a war, and he won the war. Why? Because he opened up his heart to be a Christian man, the real deal, the real deal. No hoarding, no sin, no games. Humble in the sight of the Lord. Very caring. That's merciful. Kind to the people. Doing everything proper and in order, according to the commandments of the Lord, and you have a winner there. He put on a servant mind, which Jesus just said, he that serveth. I told you that word is the center of everything, almost every lesson we have here. So now Jesus is saying he's a true servant in Luke 21, right? He's saying, I am as the one who is a servant. I am among you like the example that you're going to have to copy. In order for you to be a successful convert. I want to make sure that it gets hammered home because he's going to give warnings out. Pay heed again that you do not be like the Pharisees who all of a sudden became greedy people. A lot of these guys were not greedy when they first joined the team. The young guys who joined the Pharisees, and they start studying their Old Testament, and especially the 5 books of the law, and before you know it, they were nice guys. Well, some of these guys, probably when they joined the, a young Pharisee, but they started hanging around these guys long enough, they started thinking like them, acting like them, and all of a sudden they want to stone women to death. They're violent. All of a sudden they're stealing widows' money, and before you know it, these guys are no good. And the Lord warns disciples, watch out for that which infects you. They got these guys. The leaven of the Pharisees. Pride, and luxury and all this consolation that they're doing. They're making fun of these guys, essentially, these disciples, because they're very poor and they're walking around and they don't own much of anything. These Pharisees have some money coming in from the people. Decent homes, probably some chariots or two. They're doing okay. And so when they see Jesus walking around, blessed are the poor, they're over there going, oh man, I'm just giving you a little bit of an opinion here. I don't usually do that, but I want to give you my opinion just for a moment here. A lot of these guys are probably over there, going, oh, what do you mean be poor? Oh, we work hard. I got my graduation degree. I deserve to be proud. I deserve to have extra money and luxury. What are you talking about over there, man? That's what they're doing. The same thing they do here. People are the same anywhere. There's no such thing as a race. That's nonsense. Everybody has the same grandparents, Adam and Eve. There is no race. That's not scientific. If there's a room with 10 people and they're all broke and they don't have any money and I drop a $100 bill and I turn around, every one of them are going to consider grabbing the $100 bill. I don't care what race they are. There's no such thing as race. Nonsense. Let's go to Matthew 6. Set your affections on above. Where your heart is, that's where your treasure is. So that goes into being pre-rapture ready, which is your heart. As we just read Paul say, set your affections. And then the Master says, where your heart is, that's where your treasure is. So that means that I don't need a lot of money or material things because I'm not thinking about it. My heart is with Father, therefore that's where all my treasure is. I can't be dominated by things of this world. It can't happen because my heart can't do it. Because your heart has to be on one of two things. You can't serve two masters. You're going to think about being ready for the rapture, or you're going to think about partying and enjoying the world. There's only two ways of going. And the Master said the people who are into the world, they have a double eye and their heart is dark. A single eye is focused on heaven, and they're honest people and caring people, and they speak the truth in righteousness. And those are the winners here. And those are the ones that are candidates for getting out of here. Let's continue. So your heart location is based upon who you serve, which goes back again to he that serveth. We serve the scriptures and the teachings of the Master, which are to love forgiveness, our desire to be forgiving and caring. And when we teach, we speak the truth and righteousness, and we speak, be humble in the sight of the Lord, and we teach all the commandments of Moses too. And that makes you a winner. We do all of this. We don't chuck any of this. We don't play pick apart here. Like the TV preacher I saw on TV the other day, he goes, Jesus said he that serveth. He didn't really mean that. He meant that he that serveth in the year 33 AD. He didn't mean he that serveth now. And so all the TV bozos who are listening to these clowns, they're going, I guess you're right, preacher. Jesus said you serve only in the year 33 AD. Let's party with you. Let's be greedy. Let's get married 3 times, 4 times. Let's just do what we want to do, man. I like you, Bible teacher. You wolf in sheep's clothing, Rufus glitter teeth, party Jude clown. You pick apart the holy word of God like you can annul what you feel like annulling. Those are the ones who are not going to be ready, because there's 5 going and there's 5 staying, and that's the pre-tribulation, pre-rapture status. Number 7 is fulfill the royal law. You who put on a servant mind, you're going to fulfill the royal law. Moses, my servant, faithful in all of my house. The word servant is applied to someone who is faithful in the entire house. You can't get the word servant or Israelite because it means full submission. It means you're doing everything that's required of you, which if you love God, you're going to do all of these requirements. There aren't that many. It can get a little detailed and complex, but in general, I've been giving it to you already. Sit with me, stand with me. Okay, those are the people who are servants true, who are going to sit with him and stand with him. Now, he mentions the word stand with him initially because that's probably the status that's going to happen when you're in the rapture. You're going to be standing right with him, and all of a sudden, 7 years comes to the world, and somehow it appears as though the Gentiles are going to somehow get some sort of trouble, and I don't know how the Hebrews are going to escape the trouble per se. It's as though the Pope and the United Nations are going to attack everybody but Israel with all kinds of restrictions and problems. I won't go into that right now. That gets into more eschatological specifics. Let's move on to the cares of this world and the cares of this life, because the Master says right there in Luke, the cares of this world, that's what's overtaking a lot of people. Not just the cares of this world, but the word also means the enjoyment of this life. Okay? In other words, you're either enjoying or you're frustrated that you're not enjoying, because it's basically, or you're a vegetable. There's basically only 3 things we can look at this as I look at number 8 here. There's only 3 ways of looking at this. You're a vegetable, like a homeless person just wandering. You don't have what you want, or you do have what you want. There's really no other profile. When you're talking about people in the world. Now, when we talk about people who are serving, fulfilling the royal law, and going to heaven, and they're actually real servants in his house. We just looked at that. Numbers 12. Okay, it's all hunky-dory. You're watching, therefore. You're praying to be accounted worthy. You set your affections on above, and you're a winner. That's the point. Okay? You don't have the cares of this world. All you talk about is going to heaven and preaching Jesus everywhere you go. So how can you be worried? You can't worry. Love can't worry. The love of God can't worry. Now, the love of animals, the love of people, the love of cars, the love of homes, the love of baseball, the love of something. There was a guy on TV said he likes to cook, and he loves to cook. Listen, I'm sorry to hear that, sir, that you love to cook. But the world says it's beautiful. What is your passion? What do you love besides Jesus Christ? What do you love besides the Master? I love this. What do you love, Frank? I love cars. I love adultery. I love this. I love animals. That's why you can't love 2 things. You either love Jesus Christ or you love the things in the world. And that's what's going on here. The Master said the cares of this world overtake you. And as long as you have those connections, you're not eating living bread and you're dead. The bread you're eating is what God gave all humans or Gentiles, which is go ahead and enjoy the world, basically you animals. I don't know you, you're not adoptable, and you're not serving me and loving me, so all bets are off. What are your daily bodily concerns? That's what is bread that God gave you. Let's talk about that for a moment. God gave you a desire to enjoy the world and to seek to take care of your bills and to enjoy the world. He gave that desire to you. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when it dominates you and you don't open yourself to serving Jesus Christ. Jesus didn't say that God didn't want you to enjoy the food in the world. That's not the point he's making at all. That's why he said, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word, which means that God told you to eat food, and he wants you to enjoy food. That's what the master is saying to the devil and anybody else who's listening, that I told you to eat food. That's right, devil, or anybody else. I told you to have dominion. I commanded you to take that area over there. And that's true. But if that's all you think about, you're toast. Because I have bread that came down from heaven, which is new bread, that if you eat this and you concentrate on this, you're going to live forever and you're not just going to eat and die. I have additional commands for you because God commanded you to breathe or you die. That's a command from God. He gave you a command to eat or die. That's a command from God. He commanded you to eat. You didn't eat because you wanted to eat. He made you a machine that you must eat food. So he gave you a demand and a command that you must eat food or you will die. That's from your maker. It didn't happen by accident. That's why all this Darwinism it's straight up garbage. You don't eat accidentally. God made you to eat. Now he's making you to eat something else. And if you don't eat that, you're going to die. That's the whole point. The same thing goes for the rapture here. If you don't want to eat this patience bread, watching out therefore, staying out of sin and praying and on the narrow brick road and setting your affections on above. And the most important part he mentions is he that serveth, back to that again. So you got a servant mind on, and now you're an eternal soul now. Okay, you're not going to pass away. Now you're going to be accounted worthy. And the master says the door is going to be shut. Ouch. Let's talk about that for a moment. I'm going to shut down. The master says the door is going to be shut and no man openeth. Woo! You do not want to miss this rapture. There's a very good chance that you might find yourself in a position of knocking on the door that will not open for you. The same thing happened to Noah. Noah warned the people for hundreds of years. They were very violent people. Like this cage fighting they have and all of this stuff they have going on. Who's the biggest, strongest monster, you know? Moses warned them that God said his soul hateth violence. Some people think that God doesn't hate violence because in the Old Testament there are wars and he's telling them defend yourself, and so they think that hey, that's the way God thinks. Wrong answer. All those things that happen in wars with Moses and Abraham and all of this, Joshua, it's there because of Adam and Eve, not God. We can clearly see that because God says he hates violence, number one. Number two, we can go to Matthew chapter 5 and we can see that God does not only hate violence, he hates it when you hurt people's feelings. One of the first lessons we have, I'm going to shut down pre-tribulation for a moment. Let's go to Matthew 5 as I shut down for the day. I'm shutting down for the day early today. I was talking with a fellow teacher there in Los Angeles, and they were saying, "Oh, you go to do it." I go. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you're an educated person and you've never read Matthew chapter 5? No. And then they started giving me some kind of Keynesian economics, which and they don't even know economics. That's why they keep voting for people who destroy the state of California economically. Because when they went to college, they didn't take any economic courses. They took courses on multiculturalism. More sociology, yeah. No economics at all. Economics are not required in any institution of higher learning. Back to the main point here as we close. The idea that Jesus Christ is very sensitive to you hurting people's feelings is extremely significant. Because up until Jesus Christ coming in these red letters here of this King James Bible, you really didn't know necessarily that much about God in a very clear fashion. As we say, straight up. It's one of the few sayings that I like from modernity. It's straight up. I like that because that's called a plumb line in your Bible, which means straight up is God. And he never moves. You never move. I have a lesson I might give tonight if I get some energy on my new science lesson. I'll probably call that 15C or something. I have one more science lesson probably for this year. I'm going to go over heaven and earth one more time with a new version, with a new slant on it, but it's basically what I already have there. I'm going to give it one more time. This time probably without images. Okay? I haven't decided what to do, but that lesson is done over there. Another lesson on heaven and earth and some of the scientific aspects of the physics involved. You say, Jeremiah, you study physics a little and astrophysics? Yes, I do. You don't kind of fit the profile. I thought all preachers talked about was social injustice. I don't teach social injustice. I don't analyze social injustice. This year is the most I've ever talked about social injustice. I rarely talk about social injustice. Recently we've been talking about it a little more than normal because we've never seen this kind of political stuff before. What's going on now? We were older people. We've never seen people go into the White House or the Department of Justice and say that it's okay to go into a classroom over here and talk about romance to children without talking to the parents. We thought we'd never see this kind of garbage. I thought we'd never. Now, Timothy chapter 3 tells me it happens, but I guess I needed to see Timothy chapter 3. In the last days, there'll be freaky times, to paraphrase Paul. In the last days, there will be freaky times. In 1965, it was God Bless America, and he did bless America on many levels. Americans wanted to go along with Christianity and the U.S. Constitution and go to bed. Consequently, we heard one gunshot in 10 years, and that was a predominantly black community. One gunshot. I think I heard one gunshot in 10 to 15 years. I never saw an ambulance on my street, I think once. All the years I lived there for 15 or so years. I forgot how many years I lived there, but I think we saw one ambulance. I never saw the police until I turned 17. The community started going down the toilet. Middle class to low class, cars parked on the street, a lot of people coming here, obviously illegally, whatever, or for whatever reason, by the way. We're not knocking the people. I'm just saying that things just got more crowded, and there was more racism, whatever, it just turned into a bad situation fast. Then I started to see a few more police cars. I never saw police cars on my street, never. I never saw an ambulance on my street. I never saw a knife fight until I turned 17. I had a knife pulled on me and put on my head or something there, my neck. And when I was 17, I think it happened to me. But for the most of the years before the hood went down, all my friends were nonviolent, educated. Some of them went to college, became teachers, and so on. All of a sudden, they started putting this rap stuff on TV, and that's when everything went down the tubes. In other words, the boule took over the black community. We won't go into that. The rich people started giving the rich black people money so they could destroy the community, where liquor stores showed up everywhere, rap videos were on the TV every night, where they made fun of black people shooting black people or something, and the whole thing went down the toilet. And that's why you have things the way they are now. But what I want to get back to and close here is that Matthew chapter 5 teaches you that Jesus Christ is very sensitive and he hates violence big time. So what you saw for 4,000 years, the Bible says that God winked. You know what that means when the Bible says that God winked? That means he just didn't pay attention on purpose. He kind of let things go. Then all of a sudden, Jesus shows up in Matthew chapter 5. And all of a sudden, look what happens. Now we find out that Jesus Christ and Father, they are very sensitive to the point you don't kill people by killing them. You kill them by being angry with them. Wait a minute. You mean that Jesus Christ is that sensitive, where if you're angry with someone, you can go downstairs? That is a correct answer. You can have hate in your heart for no reason, and you are T-O-A-S-T. I saw some Muslims on TV that said that Allah told them to wipe out a whole city in Egypt. What was that, Khartoum? The docudrama? They asked the Muslim dude, why are you wiping out hundreds of thousands of black people and taking over Egypt? He said Allah told him to do it. So he's hating black people, and the Muslims they said that they had to do it. The leader of the British brigade of a couple of hundred white guys, they tried to stop these guys. They were outnumbered 100 to 1. They tried to stop them from slaughtering the black people there. Some very heroic guys from England. And they were all white guys too, by the way. Very similar to the Civil War. A lot of white guys tried to save black people. I'm not saying that all white people are okay. We're not going to make any racial observations. I'm just saying it's rather interesting that the leader of the British Army went to meet with the guy who had already told everybody he's going to slaughter the whole town. So he went and asked him, why are you going to slaughter everyone? Hundreds of thousands, or I forgot how many people it was. It was a lot of people. I don't want to say hundreds. I don't know the exact number. But it was a lot of people. And he asked him, why are you going to slaughter them tomorrow? He said, because Allah told me to do it. So he's hating people he doesn't even know. He's murdering people he doesn't even know who they are. So the Master just said, even if you think about hurting somebody, in Matthew 5:22, that you are in danger of hellfire at the end of the chapter. That means that Jesus Christ knows when you hate people and you don't think nobody knows. And if you think about hating people and you murder them, you go to hell. And if you think about murdering people and you don't murder them, you go to hell. That's the point he makes in 22 and 23 here, or rather 21 and 22. I can read my numbers here. I don't have my reading glasses on. One moment here. Yeah, that's 21 and 22. That's that fancy lettering of this King James Version here. The one with like a 2 there. You can read it. I'm going to shut down. You can read that chapter and those verses. Shall be in danger of hell fire. So he says that you've heard that committing murder is bad. You're in danger of the judgment, verse 21. So he's not arguing with that. That's your Moses book. Yeah, you're in danger. Big time. Then he says, wait a minute. But I say unto you, if you're just angry and you hate people without a cause, and you don't even do anything, you're in danger of hellfire. I hate that person over there. You're in danger of hellfire. Then he qualifies it even more and says, you can't call anybody empty-headed or fool. You can't do either one of those, because what you're doing is you're hurting people's feelings, and he must know about it, and he's not a happy creator. I'll say it one more time. He's not a happy camper as the creator and overseer of all mankind when you hurt people's feelings by calling them fool or calling them empty-headed. So what's our perspective of Almighty God now after this Matthew chapter 5 scenario? It's an easy conclusion that is unassailable, and that is that you better watch out, you better not cry. I'm telling you why. Jesus Christ is coming to town. He knows when you call people fools, and he knows when you call people empty-headed. He knows when you're hating people for no reason, and you better not do it. So now our profile of Jesus Christ is no longer ambiguous or some sort of enigma of some sort. We're getting boots on the ground that you're in trouble by what you're thinking, even though you don't even do it. What's the bottom line? He's revealing how sensitive God is to people's feelings. A chicken can figure that out. I've raised animals who can figure out what I just said. I'm joking a little bit, but it's not that hard to figure out here. I don't want to joke about something too serious. I'm just making a point, okay? In psychology, they call that what? A pathetic fallacy or a personification. We'll go there for now. Jeremiah's going to shut down. Praise Jesus. We made it all the way up to the cares of this world, and we're going to go to the eternal soul next, number 9, because heaven and earth will pass away in Luke 21, but my words will not pass away. In other words, why would you get stuck on this world? It's going to go away. Why don't you put your affections on that which never goes away, which is number 1, God's love. It's not going anywhere. All the stuff people are getting attached to around here, it's gonzo. Say, Jeremiah, don't you appreciate things? I sure do. I'm going to probably have some chicken here a little later. That's not my point. Hey, we just know how to prioritize things around here. That's why the Master said, if any man love more than me, or more specifically, he that loveth more than me, family, anything. Doesn't mind you loving your parents or love. That's obvious. Otherwise, he wouldn't say honor your mother and father in the Ten Commandments, would he? No, he's talking about top drawer. And top drawer means he that serveth, Jeremiah? That's right. Is that living bread again? That's right. Always the bottom line, right? Yes, sirree. Now, one thing about the living bread we shut down. When you're in heaven, there's no more service development, character required, accomplished in you, potter's wheel spinning, troubles on every side. Paul the Apostle, endure hardships as a good soldier. John 16, Christianity, I'm going to let them take your joy away from you periodically. On and on it goes with that. This is going to be accomplished in you. That's how we become one, Hebrews 1. This is abiding in me, or whoever is offended in me. In me means in me, which means what, Jeremiah? In me means deal with it. I'm going to put some stuff in your road. Deal with it. No complaining, not being offended or ashamed. The first TV preacher I ever heard was in 1972 or so. He came on the radio in Los Angeles, and he used to say, I'm offended that you are teaching that we have to take up a cross. I don't like it. I want my pie now. He came on the radio. He said, I want my pie now. One of the first little greedy TV preacher, little scumbags. But he came on the radio, he goes, I demand I get God now. I demand that I get my prize now. What a garbage can. Listen, this old story of greed and stuff, it goes way back, Which is one reason why, and I apologize, this is one reason why Jeremiah is a little overboard. Zeal for thine truth has consumed me. It's been 50 years of this now, of TV bozos and people coming on TV counting money in your face and going, hey, this is where it's at, man. I saw a TV preacher on the web. He was dancing on money. That's how bad this is. And even when it comes to sensuality and fornication, they had one guy who had women coming up with improperly dressed. Saying, this is the way we go now. This is the new church, Every kind of filthy bird in the cage here. Listen, we preach purity here up and down the street. We're not playing here. We're not teaching puritanical. We're Puritans. A lot of people like to get on the Puritans' case. In America, the Puritans were no good. I don't say that. I like the Puritans. But I don't like them being puritanical, but I like them pushing purity. What's wrong with that? When you drink water, don't you want it pure? Go ahead and drink nasty water if you want it. We teach purity here. Oh, Jeremiah, you've never been pure, absolutely, and you've made mistakes. That's true. But it doesn't mean we don't teach purity here. That was the theme last year. Beauty, heaven, and purity. Because beauty came from heaven, and heaven came from purity. Jeremiah, we're shutting down. That's it. It's getting hot in here, and Jeremiah used on a natural wind and whatever, wind and rain, and I'm not in the air conditioners and making sure we're super comfortable and all of that. They have a joke. Was that a joke in Italy? You You Americans, don't come to Italy. Americana. You like is the baseball and the rock and roll. You like a platform shoes, factory made. And you also like the air conditioning and the early bird gets the worm. That's not how we live in Naples. We drink wine and we sleep late. Take it easy, take it easy. Americana. I am a pig and a lawyer. In a pig's eye, they have a lot of funny little sayings in Italy. Jeremiah, you're shutting down? That is correct. Let's shut down. We talked about getting out of this hellhole coming for 7 years. And then I do what I do 4 or 5 times a year here. I show you the character of Jesus Christ and how intense God really is. And the 4,000 years that you saw before Christ came, you may not have gotten a clear picture of what's going down here for 2,000 years. In many ways, the 2,000-year period of Christ's church has more scrutiny than the 4,000 years of Moses and Abraham's bosom. On many levels, things are much more puritanical than they were for 4,000 years. Obviously, we're not teaching you have to obey the law 100%. What we're saying is that look what happened to Ananias and Sapphira when they walked into church one day and lied about how much money they had because God wanted everybody to become a communist, essentially, to give all your money into the church and everybody had one purse. That's communism. Without Karl Marx, Satanism, and violence. And anti-religious themes from Marx and Tolstoy, or not Tolstoy, but all the boys there. Joseph Stalin and whatever. Trotsky's his name. Okay. And Lenin. Vladimir Lenin. Who said religion, murder them all, and religion is the opiate of the masses. Well, he was right about that to a certain degree. That religion is the opiate of the masses. Who are Christians, and we are getting high on love. And it's unfortunate Trotsky and whoever you guys are over there in Russia, who were atheists and whatever, drinking too much vodka or whatever, it's too bad that you didn't ever receive that opiate. Because you're right, we are high. He's right. Trotsky was right. He said that the Westerners were high. You know, their feet weren't on the ground. Well, Trotsky, you were wrong. Marx, you garbage can of a murderer, Satanist, dumpster can full of trash, sir. Listen, you were right about us being high on opiate, but you're wrong about us not having our feet on the ground. That's where you were wrong. Because we tolerated rich capitalists. First of all, one quick note on communism before we shut down here. I'm not responsible for following people around, finding out how much money they have and how much money they make in their business. Because first of all, it's not your business, number one. That's called offsides in America. And second of all, we trust God. We have a license plate here in Indiana. We trust in God. In God we trust. I don't worry about rich people abusing people. God gets everybody's wagon. And we know that. And because you're mentally retarded and you don't know that, that's too bad. We try to evangelize you, but you continue holding on to this. It's okay to murder people who don't want to attack rich people. That makes you psychotic and mentally ill. Oh, Billy over there, he made $5 more than the median income, so let's go kill him. Who made you arbiter of all of that? Frank made $20 more than the average income. So you can use your machine gun, Che Guevara. Go shoot some nuns because they're believing in religion, and religion is the opiate of the masses, and religious people have a tendency to allow rich people to party on and abuse the poor, so go ahead and shoot them too. And when you go to Venice Beach, California, they have Che Guevara shirts that sell like hotcakes. People buy them and put them on, the young people. Oh, let's save the world. Let's vote for Bernie Sanders. Woo-hoo! So Bernie Sanders goes into office, and what does he proceed to do? Support the rich people. So he lied. He just voted for, I follow politics a little bit. Let me tell you a little about politics and people in this communism routine. He said he was basically socialist. I want to share everything. So they just had a war between the workers on the railroad cars and the owners. And the workers said, we want vacation, we want less hours, and you're working us 24 hours a day, we're going to crash the trains. I don't have a vacation. And so Bernie Sanders just voted that they don't get the vacation and that the rich people stay rich, and they cut him a $100,000 check. As far as I know, that's how it worked, right? Yeah. But while he ran for office, he got all the young people excited. Woo-hoo! And him and his friends also voted the same way. So the railroad strike workers have to go back to work without any more money, with same hours of work, overworked, underpaid, no vacation. But the rich people, they are very happy because they get another $100,000 a year on their check as being the owners of the corporation. So instead of making $700,000 a year, they're going to keep $700,000 a year because they were going to go down to $600,000 a year. And Bernie Sanders helped them so that they keep that $700,000 a year salary. Can you do the math? I'm going to shut down. You say, Jeremiah, you keep track of a few things. Well, I watch TV every now and then, the web. And the railroad strike people are right down the freeway here. That's where the railroads go by here. All they wanted was a vacation. But Bernie Sanders, who ran for, I'm with the people, man. Ooh, I'm you young people, come and listen to me run my mouth. Because I'm a big fat liar. That's what he is. Okay, if you don't like the truth here, you don't have to listen to my radio station, my broadcast here. A lot of people, they get, oh, you're too rough. We just talked about in the previous video about young people. Some of you need to cut your friends off. Oh, that's mean. No, it isn't. It's called survival. You got friends who drink and take drugs or something. You need to cut them all off. And start all over again. Oh, that's rough. Listen, it's better off to be rough than to be wrapped around a pole here. Well, they just showed some videos of some young people drinking and they got wrapped around a pole. Some of them were dead. Well, they were having a grand time, though. Whee! Drug use in this state is through the roof. Down to 15, 14-year-olds. Listen, we're here to not only preach the gospel, but we're here to give some boots on the ground advice because we don't want all these young people getting wrapped around these poles on these undivided highways and all this. We teach some of these young people that have Bible study, use your head, put off having parties until you get older. Wait till you graduate from college to get married. Wait till you learn a skill. Wait till you study something at the library. Spend your time at the library. That's where you spend your time. Taking care of your mother and father and go to the library. Be very careful in picking friends nowadays, some young people, okay? I remember I had some nieces and nephews, and some guy came over with someone, I want to date your niece or something, and they said, is she going out on a date or something? I said, no, she's not going anywhere. Well, why would you do that? Because that's what I want to do. That's why I'm doing it. I'm in charge here. Oh, but the young person might miss out on living, but they also might be wrapped around a pole. See, so when you're in charge, you go ahead and you let things go wild and free and freaky, and anything can happen, but that's while you're in charge, but not while I'm in charge. Oh, it's going to be a little boring, isn't it? Probably. Oh, you're going to miss a lot of laugh and joy and romance and whatever. Yeah, probably. That's true. But if you don't go to Vegas, you'll probably miss losing all of your money. But you're going to miss some fun while you lose it, right? Whee! I had fun. It was exciting. I heard noises from the one-armed bandit, the machine, you know. Ding, 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 ding. And lights were flashing. They were passing out free Coca-Colas, you know. It was fun, but I'm broke. We don't teach fun and sin for a season here. We teach discipline, hard work, and keep your mouth closed and stick to the grindstone. Learn to enjoy the simple things. Smelling a rose doesn't cost any money. I used to spend a lot of time going to the beach. I really enjoyed the beach. I'd get sales for fried fish from the Long John Silver or something, and I would just enjoy sitting there with some sugar water and usually some worship music or something and sit and look at the water. It didn't cost me any money to look at the water. It didn't cost any money to put my feet in the sand. It didn't cost any money. It didn't cost any money to say hello to people and be friendly to people and enjoy meeting people. It cost me nothing. Pressed down, shaken together, men gave to my bosom. Love interaction. That didn't cost any money. They just showed a lady talking about hugging her mother here or something the other day. You know, I don't want to go there right now, but it didn't cost me any money to hug my mother or something. It didn't cost me a dime. I don't need drugs. I don't need alcohol. I got what I want. Some of you young people out there, you need to focus on what's really valuable for you and stick to it. You don't need anything else. The devil told you that you needed to drink and drive or to take drugs or to have a relationship before you check some guy out or some gal out. Or the devil told you to do that. I saw somebody in the White House the other day. They said he told some girls, why don't you go have fornication before you get married? That's what he said. Somebody in the White House said that to some girls, teenagers. That guy's a piece of trash. Straight up. That guy's garbage. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm going to shut down. Maranatha. Jesus is coming again. He was basically telling those girls that before we shut down that getting venereal disease is no big deal. And it is a big deal. And having a child before you're grown up and getting tied to some dude you don't know who he is, how he's going to treat the child. Don't consider it, is what that piece of garbage was saying. That guy's garbage, period. Jeremiah sounds awfully rough. You don't like this program here? Don't come here. I'm a straight talker. Some people say I'm a little too straight. Well, then go somewhere else. God bless you in your endeavors. Wherever you want to go, I have a style, and I've always had this style. My relatives told me you're like John the Baptist. I told them, I said, thank you for the compliment. You're puritanical. Thank you for the compliment. I want to be pure. I didn't say absolutely pure. I said I wanted to be pure. Blessed are the pure in heart, for you shall see God. Thank you, sir. You spoke to me as though it was something negative. I'm telling you that, bro, thumbs up, dude. I like the way you're talking, man. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. That's what we teach here. The Mosaic Law, Romans 3:31. Do we nullify rules because we're saved by grace? No. We establish rules. That's what Paul said. That's what I do. Doesn't sound like grace to me. That is saving grace. Grace with no rules, do what you want to do, that's not grace at all. Somebody lied to you on TV probably. I'm going to shut down as we lift up our hands unto thy name, because his loving kindness is better than earth life. My lips shall praise thee, thus will I bless thee. I will lift up my hands unto thy name. We have praises here all the time, Bible study all the time. We've been backing off of the hymns recently. We're going to probably get to that later, okay? We're having a few health issues here recently. We're going to have to probably pray and wait and take a break here. Maybe have the elders pray for me a little, or somebody. We'll get some more prayer going here, that's the way life is. Jesus told Paul, my power is perfected in weakness. I know, Paul, your eyes are bothering you, but I'm not going to fix them right now. That's my take on those scriptures. I know your eyes have been bothering you. When they almost stoned you to death, your eyes were damaged, and I didn't fix them. Also, my grace is enough for you, which means you're going to heaven, and that's what you're going to get. As far as getting everything perfect in your body all the time, no. Jeremiah, you're shutting down? Very long video. We're on fire here. We got work to do here. I have, I'll share with you before we shut down. I'm very excited about giving another science lesson on heaven and earth, a little more succinct and compact on heaven and earth. Squeezed and more refined, okay? Couth. Or C-O-U-T-H, right? Couth. It means polished, okay? I like the way it came out here. For you, for those of you interested, I'm going to get into a little bit of a little more clarification on heaven and earth. I didn't put the math in there. I was going to get some find the area of a parabola stuff going, but I don't have time right now. That's going to take some time. To find the area of a parabola. What is the area of this dome? Or called firmament? I think if I did some more math, I could probably come up with a very accurate assessment as to exactly where Father is, on top of Polaris, at the center of the dome, and how high the dome is, and or the highest point relative to Father's throne. And because we give a lot of information in this new science lesson that gives you rough estimates as to the measurements. A lot of people are leaving this ministry recently because there's too much discipline going on here now. We're really starting to get away from a lot of simple lessons. But the simple lessons, I don't think people understand that we still have all those simple lessons available here. But we're scaring people off with long videos, and we're scaring people off with combining subjects like we're doing here. Okay? And that's the way it goes. Maranatha, Corinthians 16. We're praying that we be accounted worthy, that we're going to be on the narrow brick road. Obviously, if you're walking on the narrow and you got your act together, as we say here in America, straight up, then you're a very good candidate for getting pooped out of here. If you're having problems with sin and you're wandering around like a drunkard and you're not on the narrow road and you can't pass the police as a walk down the walk line with your eyes closed, with your finger on your nose routine, then who knows? The Lord might leave you right here. Because obviously you do not want to get left here, which is the main idea here, which is don't get left here. Watch you therefore. Don't let surfeiting, drunkenness, partying, whatever get in the way. We'll get back to that later. Shalom and amen.